Hi, I'm Prabhakar Rauri. Today I would like to share my experience on technology innovation and Greenfield projects. The common features between this, and very often they come together, is that the degree of risk, there is a very high risk associated in both areas, both with technology and the Greenfield project. The future is unknown. We find that there is a lack of clarity, especially at the start. As we proceed, even the outcome is not fully known, not only at the beginning but also as we proceed. It cannot be fully conceptualized because it's a Greenfield project and we are applying technology probably for the first time in the way that we are doing it at that point. We also find that once we execute the projects, we find other multiple applications for this innovation and the project itself. And this actually, a combination leads to a lot more of automation in the present times. The other common feature which is present between technology innovation and Greenfields is that it requires a high degree of collaboration between the various players who are involved in it. The road is unknown ahead. It also leads, if you look at it, there's an industry pioneering work that happens at this point, and it also leads organizations to have a competitive edge until the competition catches up. Now I'll share my experience on a buy-sell transmission capacity over the internet, a system which was built for a leading power company in the east coast of the US, where transmission capacity which it had could be bought and sold over the internet by other players. This was done in the US in 1996. One of the things that happened in the mid-90s is that the deregulation of electric generation and transmission took place, and the new Federal Energy Regulation Commission rulings which came out had to be complied with by all transmission capacity companies. So the technology at that point was utilized to innovate a very beautiful solution to buy and sell transmission over the internet. This was done in 1996, and very parallel, if you look at it, Amazon came up with their first online book selling application over the internet in July of 1995. So it was hardly a year later that pioneering work had happened in the utility industry, which is known to be quite stoic in the way of approach and adoption of technology. What was developed for a leading company in the East Coast was sold to other companies, to another company in Deep South, which was also a leading player in the utility industry. And it turned out, due to the way of working, that it turned out to be a win-win-win situation, not only for both the utility companies but also the IT services company which provided and which built the solution. The key factors which allowed us to succeed in this was that a very deep understanding of the FERC rulings was required. This was Greenfield because this was the first time that these rulings were laid out for the utility industries. So it was done with a combination and collaboration between various utility industries, companies, and also the IT services company. Technology innovation had to be bought because the internet was new at that point in terms of adoption, in terms of commercial adoption. It was quite new and challenging in terms of its application for the particular situation. High quality project documentation was created, not only on the domain side but also on the technology side, because this being a Greenfield project and with the technology innovation, in order to support, maintain it ahead, and of course the changes which would come with the FERC rulings, it had to be well documented so that the later teams could handle this and continue to move it forward. One of the key success factors was that, being new, the utility companies did a wonderful collaboration among themselves in terms of their understanding and also with the FERC organization itself. commercial requirements, commercial success could be achieved to sustain, which required to sustain the whole application was the commercial agreements. This was between the IT services company and the utility company, that the royalty of the product or the application would go with the utility company and the services would be obtained by the IT services company. So that was an example of application in the US and experience in the US in the 1990s. Coming down to 2000s, when we looked at an Indian situation, we found that a leading FMG customer of ours wanted to network or to work with their dealers, with their retail stockists. They would like to do a daily automatic inventory replenishment at the dealers. So what was done was, again, the internet was used, but important thing was the retail stockists were not very technology savvy. The other thing with the retail stockists was the knowledge of replenishment was there with the FMCG customer organization. So now it could leverage that to help its own business and of course the retailer's business. What took place was that it wanted a leading FMCG company in India wanted to track and compute inventory replenishment needed at the dealers. So an internet-based solution was innovated with the technology available at that time, within the constraints that the dealers were not technology savvy. They would have a PC and a phone line connected at that point, and that was the technology needed to pull out the data from their environment. And this solution made it possible for the FMCG to have a competitive edge in the India market. The solution also received a Global Silver Award by the parent company of the FMCG for it being a very innovative project in the Indian environment. The success factors, when we look at this particular experience, was that the technology was innovative. It was piloted first. The first pilot took 2 months to spread across 20 retail stockists. In the next 1 month, 20 more were covered. In the next 1 month, it took 2 weeks, and thereon every week we were being able to roll this out at a very large pace across the country. The domain knowledge which was resident with the project team was especially useful working with both the FMCG company and the retail stockists, because being a Greenfield project, the boundaries were very, very thin as to who should do what. It was the collective knowledge which actually helped solutioning and making it successful. The rapid rollout which followed the initial pilot was again a real technology way of handling the rollouts. It was a technology which was leveraged to do this. The cost effectiveness came because of the speed of rollout and also because of the low bandwidth required from the retail stockists, low load required. They did not have to be trained much. All they had to do was link through the internet to the customer FMCG systems, and the automatic work would happen thereon.